Hi, I want to talk to you about annotated codes, which are both a secondary source and a primary source. A code is the current legislation in force arranged by subject matter. For example, in Ohio, we have the Ohio Revised Code, and this is the Ohio Revised Code that you'll find for free on the internet. This is the one published by the government. As you can see, it's arranged into different titles by subject. And for example, if I'm interested in Courts, Common Pleas, Title 23, yeah, this is published by the state of Ohio, like I said, okay. And then I want Chapter 2305 that deals with statute of limitations. And say I'm interested in, over to the side here, I see the various sections over on the right-hand side, and I'm interested in 2305.07, the statute of limitations for a contract not in writing. So that's how I could get to the Ohio Revised Code. And we notice this free one online, it just has the legislation as it came out of the legislature. But an annotated code, as are published by Lexis and Westlaw, they have a little bit more. They have what was published by the legislature, the text of the actual statute as we see here, plus they have case summaries of cases dealing with this particular code section and discussing statute of limitations for a contract not in writing, and also research references to other secondary sources you can go for further research. Now, the case summaries and the research references are written by Lexis and Westlaw, whereas, of course, the code section is written by the legislature. All right, so Westlaw has something known as Baldwin's Ohio Revised Code. We see it here in print, and it is on Westlaw Online as well. And Lexis has something known as Page's Ohio Revised Code. We see it here. It's the red one that's in print, and it's also online. All right, so here if I go on to Westlaw next, and I type into the big box ORC 2305.07 to look for my Ohio Revised Code section, and here it is. And right here we see the actual section as written by the legislature for contracts not in writing. All right, if I click on Notes of Decisions, that's what's going to get me to the case summaries. And if I click on Context and Analysis, that's what's going to get me to the research references. So recall that the part in the middle there, the contract not in writing, that's written by the legislature. These things written by Westlaw. So this part is a primary source, the part that's written by the legislature, and these other parts, the notes of decision and context and analysis, are secondary sources. So say we go over here to notes of decisions, and you will see some various decisions concerning accrual of cause of action when the statute of limitation begins to run, and we see various case summaries here, and these are a secondary source. These are summaries created by Westlaw. They're not the actual law that comes from the government. So say, as an example of maybe a little research problem you would do with this, we see that for contracts not in writing, the statute of limitation shall be 6 years after the cause of action accrued. You have to file your complaint within 6 years after the cause of action accrued. When does the cause of action accrue? They don't really tell you in the statute. This is kind of all you get. So you want to refer to cases to find out what do they really mean by cause of action accrued. So you can either click on Notes of Decisions here, accrual of cause of action when statute begins to run, to pull up cases that will tell you what they mean by accrual of cause of action. Or you could click over there on Notes of Decisions, the Notes of Decisions tab up at the top, and you're going to get something that looks like this if you click on that tab. And then you could see all your little case summaries and kind of look through them and see what's pertinent to you. So it's a secondary source. It helps you find items on point. If I click on Context and Analysis, this is what I get. I get references to other sources, other secondary sources such as ALRs, encyclopedias, etc. Okay, so the same type of deal is going on Lexis. I pull up my Ohio Revised Code section. In the middle there you see the actual section here of the text as written by the legislature, and if you scroll down, Okay, there's the text as written by the legislature. If you scroll down, you're going to get your case notes. The same thing that Westlaw calls notes of decisions. These are your case summaries. So if I pick this one, accrual of action, and notice that these case summaries and case notes, there's a little outline before all of them on Lexis and Westlaw, so you can pick the section that you want, so you don't have to read through all the case notes that are, underneath a particular statute. So here's your case notes concerning accrual of cause of action, and you could read through those. So it's a way to find case law on point to some issue involving that statute. That's what you're doing here. Now, you're only going to use this as a secondary source if the issue that you're dealing with actually involves a statute. There's many legal issues that are something that arise out of common law, out of case law, and they don't really have to do with the statute at all. So in summary, annotated codes have the text of the statute plus case summaries and research references, and they're both a primary and secondary source. If you have any questions, please contact Research Services. Thanks.